Will Power, a proven IndyCar and Indy 500 champion, a driver that certainly goes down in IndyCar history as one of the best to ever race in IndyCar. The fastest man in IndyCar, however, has had a lackluster season for Will Power standards. He's 43, and while great drivers have raced for longer, it's getting closer to contract season for Will. He renewed last year after he won his second IndyCar championship in 2022. Last year, 2023, however, was arguably his worst season to date in the IndyCar series, not scoring a single victory since 2006 in IndyCar or Champ Car. For comparison's sake, 2006 was his first ever full season in Champ Car. In 2023, he'd finished on the podium 4 times, and he didn't really look like himself that year. I was watching the whole season, and even in qualifying, now they call him the fastest man in qualifying. He's got the most poles. He wasn't really up there. It took him to the end of the season to get into the Fast Six. And while he had back-to-back poles at Iowa, that was the only time he really showed prowess. That's the only time he'd qualify in the top 5 for the whole season. He was competitive at select races. For instance, he'd finished second behind Alex Palou at Detroit, which is a race he could have won. And Barber, he'd finished third behind Grosjean and McLaughlin's amazing fight. With his contract going through 2025, Will Power is running out of time. Power has been with Team Penske since 2009, when he filled in for Castroneves when Helio had his tax evasion case. He had a 6-race part-time season after Helio came back, with St. Petersburg being the quote-unquote 7th. But he only completed 5 races after Power would fracture vertebrae in his back after a horrendous crash at Sonoma in practice. He wouldn't finish below 9th in the 7 races he ran, including his penultimate win in the IRL in Edmonton and 2 more podiums. The lowest place he finished in the championship with Penske is 9th, which was 2021, arguably his worst season ever. Before that, Will had a lowest finish of 5th place in the championship, including his first championship in 2014. He's got the most IndyCar poles with 70, the 5th most wins in series history with 41, and the fourth most amount of podiums with 101. Driving for Team Penske alone means you should be challenging for championships in the Indy 500. But when you're Will Power and your teammates with Joseph Newgarden, the reigning Indy 500 winner and 2-time champion, and Scott McLaughlin, a consecutive 3-time V8 Supercars champion who had the potential to shatter Jamie Weinkamp's record of wins and poles if he stayed in V8 Supercars his whole career, has proven to be increasingly competitive in IndyCar, especially that pole position in the 108th Indy 500. Power has hit the ground running in 2024, similar to 2022, with 3 second places in 4 races, and he certainly could have had 1 win and 4 podiums, if not for the wrong strategy decision by Ron Rzuski on the pit stand, which I'm still not happy about. He is also currently 2nd place in the championship, and he started 2nd 3 times. He seems competitive for the 500, and now, since this was recorded, after Detroit, he was competitive. He crashed out of the 500, which hasn't really helped his case, but he bounced back with a crazy race at Detroit to finish 6th after incurring 4 penalties. Whatever the case may be, whether he retires after 2025 or he's dropped by Roger, Will Power will still be one of the greatest IndyCar drivers of all time.